Welcome back to the heart of downtown Anchorage. We are standing right in front of an absolute local legend, the Pioneer Bar, located here on West 4th Avenue. Before we even think about taking our first step, I want you to plant your feet and take a good, long look at that classic, glowing neon sign above the entrance. Locals affectionately call this place the P.O., and it is far more than just a watering hole. It is a true Anchorage institution and a living time capsule. It has been pouring drinks and serving as a vital, beating heart community gathering place for Alaskans since 1953. If you want to experience a genuine, unpretentious slice of old Anchorage, a place where commercial fishermen fresh off a grueling month at sea, North Slope oil workers flush with cash, local politicians making backdoor deals, and wide-eyed tourists all rub elbows over a cold local beer and a noisy game of pool, this is exactly where you go. It is a surviving remnant of a gritty, hardworking, relentlessly authentic frontier town that existed long before the massive corporate oil boom permanently transformed the city's skyline. As you stand here on 4th Avenue, taking in the energy of the street, I need you to understand the terrifying history buried directly beneath the asphalt you are standing on. In 1964, during the apocalyptic Good Friday earthquake, the ground here literally liquefied. The entire northern half of this street, just steps away from where you are, completely sheared off and dropped 20 feet straight down into a chaotic, terrifying trench of broken pavement, crushed cars, and ruined storefronts. The fact that the Pioneer Bar survived the violent, 5-minute shaking, and the fact that this street was painstakingly filled with thousands of tons of gravel and rebuilt into the bustling thoroughfare you see today, speaks volumes about the absolute refusal of Alaskans to be defeated by their environment. Now, let us begin our walk. Go ahead and start heading west for just a few short steps toward the intersection of H Street. Take your time. As we walk away from the historic hum of 4th Avenue, I want you to look around at the skyline, the buildings, and the general layout of these streets. Anchorage is a fascinating, visually complex city because it never had the luxury of growing slowly over centuries like cities on the eastern seaboard. It literally exploded into existence. It went from a muddy, chaotic railroad tent city on the banks of Ship Creek in 1915 to a sprawling, heavily fortified military hub during World War II, to a massive, incredibly wealthy oil metropolis in the 1970s. Because of that frantic, unrelenting growth, the architecture you are walking past is a complete mishmash of eras, intentions, and economic booms. When you reach the corner, make a left turn, so we are heading south down H Street. As we make this turn, I want to take a moment to look beyond the concrete and the power lines. Long before the federal government arrived in 1915 to auction off town site lots from a wooden platform, this entire region, stretching from the Chugach Mountains down to the Tidal Flats, was the traditional homeland of the Dena'ina Athabascan people. For thousands of years, they thrived in this incredible but unforgiving landscape. They understood the deep rhythms of the seasons, they navigated the treacherous, freezing waters of the Cook Inlet, and they established sophisticated, rich cultures deeply tied to the land, the salmon, and the wildlife. It is vital to acknowledge that as we walk this paved urban grid, we are walking on ancient ground that carries a legacy far older than any building in the state. As we walk these 300 or so feet down H Street, pay attention to the air. Depending on the season, you might feel the sharp, biting wind sweeping off the Chugach Mountains, or you might be soaking in the relentless, golden light of the midnight sun. Anchorage is a city defined by extremes. In the dead of winter, the sun barely crests the horizon, casting the city in a perpetual, icy twilight for months. But in the summer, the city explodes with manic, sleepless energy. People are out hiking, fishing, and biking at 2 in the morning because the sun simply refuses to set. It is a climate that demands endurance, and it breeds a unique kind of camaraderie among the people who choose to call this place home. We are now coming up to the intersection of H Street and West 5th Avenue. Right here at this corner, I want you to look at the striking building standing before you. This is the Holy Family Old Cathedral. In a city dominated by blocky, earthquake-resistant mid-century concrete, the elegant architecture of this church stands out beautifully, but it also holds a massive piece of global history. In 1981, Pope John Paul II visited Anchorage, and he stood right here at this cathedral. An estimated 50,000 people, roughly a quarter of the entire population of the city at the time, gathered on the nearby Delaney Park Strip just to hear him say Mass. It was a monumental event for this geographically isolated city, a moment when the eyes of the entire world were focused on this small pocket of civilization in the far north. Go ahead and turn left onto 5th Avenue. We are now heading east, and we will be walking along 5th for about 1/10 of a mile, roughly one long city block. Settle into a comfortable pace. 5th Avenue is one of the primary commercial and retail arteries of downtown Anchorage. As you walk the stretch, you will notice a distinct, immediate shift from the historic, slightly rugged vibe of 4th Avenue to a much more modernized, retail-focused environment. Keep your eyes open on both sides of the street. You will see an interesting mix of local Alaskan boutiques selling carved ivory, high-end outdoor gear shops outfitting extreme mountaineers for the brutal wilderness, and massive commercial buildings. Up ahead, occupying a huge, dominating footprint, is the Anchorage 5th Avenue Mall. This sprawling complex is the premier shopping destination for the entire state of Alaska. Because so many Alaskan communities are entirely off the road system, accessible only by small plane or boat, people will literally fly hundreds of miles into Anchorage from remote bush villages just to spend a weekend shopping here, loading up on clothes, supplies, and goods before flying back out into the wilderness. It creates a fascinating juxtaposition. You have a high-end, modern retail center sitting just a few miles away from ancient glaciers and dense forests crawling with brown bears. But as we walk past these retail centers, I want to take you back to 1964 again, because the history of that earthquake is inescapable here. For decades, a massive, heavy concrete JCPenney department store stood prominently right here on 5th Avenue. During the Good Friday tremor, the earth violently shifted, and the entire incredibly heavy facade of that 5-story building completely sheared off its structural mounts. Massive, crushing slabs of concrete plummeted directly onto the sidewalks and the street below, flattening cars completely into the pavement. It was a scene of absolute devastation, and photographs of that collapsed facade became some of the most famous, horrifying images broadcast around the world. Today, the rebuilt, modernized structures along this avenue stand as a powerful testament to the city's incredible ability to clear the rubble, learn from the tragedy, rewrite their engineering codes, and build back stronger, safer, and infinitely more resilient. We are coming up on the intersection of 5th Avenue and F Street. When you reach the corner, go ahead and turn right. We are now heading south on F Street. This is going to be the longest continuous stretch of our walk, covering about 2/10 of a mile straight down the grid until we hit 9th Avenue. There is absolutely no need to rush, so just take your time, breathe in the air, and listen. As you head south down F Street, notice how the dense, towering commercial center of downtown begins to slowly give way. The buildings start to get a little bit shorter, the pedestrian traffic thins out, and the massive, modern glass facades transition into smaller professional offices, local law firms, and historic residential corners. You are walking exactly along the precise grid laid out by the Federal Alaskan Engineering Commission over a century ago. They used letters for the north-south streets, like the one we are on now, and numbers for the east-west avenues. It is a completely pragmatic, military-style naming convention that completely lacked poetry or imagination, but it made absolute, logical sense for a rapidly expanding, muddy staging ground built in the middle of absolute nowhere. Speaking of military pragmatism, as we cross 6th Avenue and continue our walk, I want you to consider the massive military history and presence that completely surrounds and sustains the city. Just to the north of us lies the sprawling Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson. During World War II, the entire trajectory of Anchorage changed overnight. After Japanese forces bombed the port of Dutch Harbor and physically occupied islands out in the Aleutian Chain, the United States government realized how incredibly vulnerable Alaska was. Anchorage was rapidly, frantically transformed into an impenetrable fortress. The military essentially took over the town. They brought in tens of thousands of troops, laid down massive concrete runways, and built incredible logistical infrastructure to defend the North Pacific Theater. That wartime boom fundamentally changed the DNA of Anchorage. It shifted it from a quiet, struggling railroad outpost into a massive, federally funded hub. Without the military recognizing the strategic, global importance of this location, the Anchorage you are walking through today simply would not exist. We are continuing south on F Street, now crossing 7th Avenue. I want to talk about another massive shift in the city's history, one that happened in 1968. That was the year oil was discovered at Prudhoe Bay on the frozen, desolate shores of the Arctic Ocean. It was the largest oil strike in North American history. Suddenly, the entire state was thrust into the global spotlight. The construction of the 800-mile Trans-Alaska pipeline system was an engineering marvel, and it pumped an unimaginable amount of wealth directly into Anchorage. This city became the headquarters for the executives, the engineers, and the logistics teams running the North Slope. The skyline shot upward, funded almost entirely by crude oil. The state even established the permanent fund dividend, paying a portion of the oil wealth directly to every resident every single year. You are walking through a city that was physically built by the railroad, fortified by the military, and ultimately made wealthy by oil. We are now crossing 8th Avenue. We are getting very close to the edge of the original downtown grid. Look at the structures around you. Again, you will notice a lack of ornate detailing. Alaskans are profoundly pragmatic people. When you live in a place where the winter temperatures can plunge below zero, where the snow must be constantly plowed, and where the earth itself occasionally tries to shake your buildings to the ground, you do not build for vanity, you build for survival. The architecture here reflects the people. Tough, solid, unpretentious, and built to withstand whatever the last frontier throws at them. We are now approaching the very end of our route, coming up on the intersection of F Street and West 9th Avenue. As you step up to the final corner, I want you to stop and look straight ahead. The dense city blocks, the pavement, and the commercial buildings suddenly stop. The landscape completely opens up into a massive, wide expanse of beautifully manicured green parkland stretching as far as you can see to the east and the west. You have arrived at the historic Delaney Park Strip. This incredible, sprawling green space is the perfect, poetic place to end our walk. When the city of Anchorage was first founded, the dense, wild boreal forest grew right up to this line. The city planners intentionally, painstakingly cleared every single tree and bush from this massive strip of land. Its original purpose was to serve as a massive firebreak, a physical barrier meant to protect the fragile, wooden tent city of early Anchorage from the devastating forest fires that regularly swept through the wilderness. It was literally the dividing line between civilization and the untamed wild. Then, in the 1920s, as aviation began to take hold in Alaska, this land evolved. It was flattened out and used as the city's very first airstrip.